Hello guys, welcome to Mathematics 5. So this lesson is from the second quarter, Module 8. So I'm your teacher, Arona C. Antero.
So before we are going to start discussing our lesson for today, let's have an exercise while listening to the song. You can also uh, stand if you want, you can dance if you want, you can stretch your arms, you can sing with the song. Okay, let's start.
Whoa, we're learning ratio. Whoa, we're learning ratio. Woke up on the right side of the bed. What's up with this math sum inside my head? Hands up if you're here to learn today. 'Cause we're learning ratio. I've got 50 pounds that I want to share with my two friends called Jack and Claire. I'm sharing in the ratio 3 to 2. We're learning ratio. Some of the ratios is what you need to know. I'll show you where to go. We don't even have to try. We're learning ratio. We're learning ratio. We don't even have to try. We're learning ratio.
Okay guys, so let's start now. So based on the song, we're learning ratio. So our objective for today is we have 3: defines ratio, give examples of ratio, and expresses ratio in simplest form. So these are our objectives for today.
So to start with, we need to review first. So we go to what is it? We have the word GCF. Okay, what is the GCF of a given number? So when we say GCF, we are referring to what? We are referring to the greatest common factor of a given number. So when we say factor, these are the numbers that we multiply that give us the product. So like for example in here, the question is, what is the GCF of 6 and 9? So what are we going to do? We are going to list down the numbers that we multiply that will give us the answer 6 and 9. So what are we going to do here, kids? I will flash the number. If you see the number, you say, hello, I am safe. Again, if you see the number, you say, hello, I am safe. Okay, let's start. We have here number 3. Next, number 6. And next is number 9. So what is the GCF of 6 and 9? What number are you saying now? Very good. It is number 3. Okay, very good. You give a 3 clap for that. 1, 2, 3. Bravo. Next example. Yes, I have here. What is the GCF of 15 and 25? So I have number 15, number 10, number 5. So what do you think? What is the GCF of 15 and 25? Dun, dun, dun. The correct answer is, yes, it is number 15. So, bravo again. You clap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now that you know what is GCF, let's go now to the definition of ratio. But before that, what is the connection of GCF, or the greatest common factor, to ratio? We need to learn the GCF, or we need to recall what is GCF in order for us to simplify a ratio. But before going to simplifying or simplification of ratio, we go first to the meaning of ratio. So let's try to analyze the picture that I am going to show.
What do I have in here? I have an orange, but I have 3. So I have 3 orange in here. Another group, 3 orange. So there are 2 groups of oranges. Next is I have 4 orange. No, is that orange? That is an apple. And another group of apple. So how many group of apple? We have 1 and 2. In each group, how many apples do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All in all, how many apples do we have? We have 4 plus 4 is equal to 8 apples. How about the oranges? How many group? We have 1 and 2. In each group, how many orange? 1, 2, 3. So all in all, how many oranges do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 oranges and 2 group of orange, 8 apples, 2 group of apples. Now, we're ready now to answer some questions in here. What are the fruits seen in the illustration? Very good. We have apples and oranges. Check. Next, how many group of oranges are there? Bravo. We have 2 groups. Next, we go to letter C. Next question is, come on, we have, okay, how many oranges are in the group? Ta-da! We have 3 oranges. Okay, we give 3 claps. 1, 2, 3. Next, how many groups of apples are there? So we are referring to groups. Yes, it is. It has 2 groups. Galing. Next, how many pieces of apples are there in the group? So referring to pieces of apples in a group. Okay. Yes, bravo. We have 4 apples. Very good. Ang gagaling. Next question. Letter D, how many pieces of oranges are there compared to the apples? So we have the word here, compare. What are we going to compare in here? The pieces of apples and the pieces of, first one is the pieces of oranges and the pieces of apples. What are we going to do? We are going to compare. How are we going to compare that? By counting. So I have here a table. Yan. So, how many oranges? We have 6. How many apples? Again, we have 8. Now, if we are going to compare, we can say now that 6 oranges is to 8 apples. Okay, next. Jan, how many pieces of apples are there compared to the number of oranges? What is the difference with our first question? In our first question, we are referring what comes first. It is the orange. In our second question, the first fruit is apples. So we are going to compare apples to oranges. So first, again, we have a table in here. Yan. So how we are going to compare again the number of apples to the number of oranges. So how many apples? We have 8. How many oranges? We have 6. Why is it I did not write 6 in here? Or why is it I write 8 first, not 6? Yes, because the first number being asked is apples. And the second number is oranges. So remember, kids, that the first number or the first object being compared to the second object should come first. So for example, your first number is apple. The first number should be apple. If the second number is oranges, so the second object you are referring to oranges. You cannot interchange that one. You got it? Okay. Next question.
Are fruits important to us? Kids, are fruits important to us? Will you try to ask yourself? Yes, of course. Fruits are very important. Yes. Why? It will help us improve our immune system. So, one way to maintain or to have a good immune system is by eating different fruits, not only apples and oranges. So, if you are not eating fruits, you start eating now. It is very, very important to us. Okay, another question. Yeah. What are the benefits that we can get from eating fruits like apples and oranges? Why? What are we going to get from the fruits and apples and oranges? Not only apples and oranges, we can have or we get vitamins because fruits are full of vitamins. It will make us strong and healthy. Not only fruits, I repeat, also vegetables. Okay, so that you will always be healthy, you will be strong enough to fight not only the COVID-19 virus, all the diseases around us, so that you will not be sickly. You need to eat fruits and vegetable. I repeat, not only apples and oranges. It is not because our example is apples and oranges, that is only the fruit. No, we have many kinds of fruits. You get it, kids? Yes. So you start eating now if you did not start yet. Okay, so Discussing on ratio, and we will be expressing ratio in its simplest form. So base it from our previous examples, the fruits that I have given you a while ago, the examples, what is a ratio? So what did we do with the number of fruits? Anong ginawa natin? Bravo! So when we say ratio, a ratio is a comparison of two different things or numbers. So we compare. What are we comparing here? We compare two different things or numbers. How are we going to compare them? We compare their quantities, isn't it? Like apples and oranges, we compare how many apples are there, how many oranges are there, how many groups, how many apples are in the group. So that is already an example of a ratio. Clear? Yes, okay. So there are three ways on writing ratio. So let's try to look at this one. We have the statement form, we have the column form, and the fraction form. So these are the three forms of writing ratios. So in here, it is written that number of oranges to the number of apples. So we are going to compare the number of oranges to the number of apples. So how many oranges again do we have? We have 6. So 6 comes first, to be followed by the statement is 2, to be followed by the number of apples. So 6 is to 8. So when we say statement form, the word or the statement is 2 is in between the two numbers. Clear? Yes, okay. So when we say column form, we go to column form. If you are going to look at this one, what is in between 6 and 8? We have the colon, okay, the punctuation mark colon. So 6 is to 8. Okay, we have two dots in between. We call that colon. Next, we go to fraction form. So when we say fraction, of course, we have the numerator, the fraction bar, in the denominator. Why is it I wrote 6 as the numerator, not 8? Yes, because the first number in here is number of oranges. And we have mentioned a while back that number of oranges are 6, diba? So 6 will be the first number, to be followed by the number of apples, that is 8. So this is fraction form, column form, and the statement form. Okay, another example. So I have three examples in here. So number one, we are going to compare 3 teachers is to 72 pupils. So statement form, I repeat, it has the statement is 2. Teachers comes first, so the first number in here is 3, to be followed by 72 pupils, that is 72. Column form, of course, there is a colon in between 3 and 72. Fraction form, we have 3 as the numerator. This is the denominator, 72. And of course, the fraction bar. Next, number 2, we have 24 flower vase for 3 vases. So we have 24. So 24 will be the first number, to be followed by is 2, because we are in the statement form, to be followed by the number of vases. How many vases do we have? We have 3. Next, column form, so 24, colon, then 3. Then fraction form, 24 will be the numerator, then 3 will be the denominator. Next, last example, we have 15 players for 1 coach. Okay, so first number is 15. So 15 is to 1. 15 is to 1. 15 over 1 or 15 is to 1. They are all equal. Pare-parehas po sila. Why? They are just written in different forms, but they are all equal. Because we are referring to 15 players is to one coach. So all of these, 1, 2, 3, are examples of ratio. So what did we do with the number of teachers to pupils? We compare. So if we compare them, we are already referring to ratio. So that is already ratio. Number 2, we compare the number of flowers to the number of vases. So that is comparison of two different objects. So again, that is ratio. Number 3, we are comparing players to coach. What are we comparing there? How many players do we have? We have 15. How many coach? We have 1. So that is already a comparison. So that is an example of a ratio. You got it, kids? Okay, let's proceed. Next, we have here the next objective is we are going to express a ratio in its simplest form. The word simple. How are we going to make the ratio or a given ratio simple? So we have steps in here on how to simplify.
So like if you are going to do something, isn't it? There are steps that we need to follow. Like also expressing ratio in its simplest form. Yeah. So we go to example number 1. So everybody let us read example number 1. Express 6 is to 8 in its simplest form. So what is the first step? So step 1. Write the ratio in fraction form. So how is 6 is to 8? How is this written? It is in column form. So we are going to write this one into fraction form. Okay, remember, the first number should be the numerator and the second number is the denominator. So first step, write the ratio in fraction form. So this is already the fraction form. Step 2, write down the factors for the numerator in the denominator. So we have mentioned the one back factors. What are the factors? So when we say factors, I repeat, these are the numbers that you are going to multiply that will give you the number, the product, or the product of 6. Okay, so for example, what are the factors of 6? We have 1, 2, 3, and 6. 6 times 1 will give you 6. 2 times 3 will give you 6. So these are the factors of 6. And get the factors of the denominator. So what are the factors of 8? We have 1, 2, 3. I know, we don't have 3 in there. 1, 2, 4, and 8. So these are the factors. Next, what are you going to do? You look at the common factors. What are the common factors in here? We have 1 and 1. When we see common, meron kay numerator, meron kay denominator. We have 1, we have 1. We have 2, we have 2. Okay? Then, if you already have the common factor, you get now the greatest. When we say greatest, yung pinakamalaki sa kanila. Bakit hindi 6 ang kukunin ko? Mas malaki siya. Bakit hindi si 8? Kasi si 6, wala siya sa 8. Because 8 is not with 6. So what is with 6 and with 8? Of course, we have what? Yan. Okay, very good. We have the number 2. So the greatest common factor of 6 and 2, 6 and 8 is 2. So we already have the GCF. What is the next step? Yan. So that is the third step. We have 2 now in here. We determine the largest factor that is common between the two numbers. So we call that the greatest common factor. We go now to step 4. What are we going to do with the greatest common factor? So divide the numerator in the denominator by the greatest common factor. Divide the numerator in the denominator by what number? 2. So we have in here 6 over 8 is equal to 6 divided by 2. How many 2 are there in 6? We get 3. 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. So now we already have the answer. So write down the simplified ratio now. That is step number 5. What is now the simplified ratio? We have 3:4. What form? We have fraction form. Or 3:4, this is in the column form. Then 3:4 in the statement form. Next example. Yeah, that is the final answer. I love it, okay? Yes. Okay, next example. Simplify the ratio 18:20. First step, write the ratio in fraction form. 18:20. Okay, we have here fraction form. Next, step 2, write down the factors for the numerator and then in the denominator. So, what are the factors of 18 and 22? So, I have here the factors of 18. I have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Then, what are the factors of 20? I have 1, 2, 4, 5, and 20. Next, step number 3. Determine the largest factor that is common between the two. So what is common? Largest, according to or the GCF. We have number 2. Diba? We have here. So the greatest common factor is 2. Yan. Okay? So that is common to 18 and 20. So we go to step 4. What are we going to do next? Okay, so step number 4, divide the numerator in the denominator by the GCF or the greatest common factor. So 18, 20. 18 divided by 2, how many 2 do we have in 18? Yes, we have 9. 20 divided by 2, we have 10. Then step number 5, write down the simplified ratio. So our answer now in here is, yes, that is 9:10. 9:10, 9:10. Nakuha? Yes, okay. So we proceed to the next example. Okay, example number 3. I have here a problem. There are 45 pupils in a class. 25 of them are boys. What is the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys? Simplify the ratio. So what are we going to do? So if we have 25 or 45 pupils in the class, Then you have 25 boys. So what operation are we going to use? We use subtraction. What are we going to subtract? We remove 25 from 45. And the difference will be the number of girls. Or 45 minus 25 is equal to 20. What is 20 now? That is now the number of girls. Diba? Okay, how are we going to check if our answer is correct? Yes, we do the opposite of subtraction. That is addition. 20 plus 25 is equal to 45. So all in all, we got the 45 class. This means that 20 are girls, 25 are boys in a class. So we can determine now the ratio. What is the ratio of number of girls to the number of boys? It is 20 is to 25. So we answered the first question. Then the next one is simplifying the ratio. So how are we going to simplify 20 is to 25? Again, the first step, write the ratio in fraction form. Then the second step is, very good, we are going to list down the factors of 20 and 25. Yes, the third step, we get the common factor or the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor of 20 and 25 is, bravo, it is 5. Diba? Then if we have 5, what are we going to do? Yes, we are going to divide. What are we going to divide? Divide numerator in the denominator by the GCF. So 20 divided by 5, I have 4. 25 divided by 5, I have 5. Okay? Very good. Ang galing-galing. So let's have a 3 clap for that. 1, 2, 3. Bravo. Next. Are we ready now? Yes. So you can get a pen, a ball pen for you, a paper for you, just like this happy kid. Okay. She is ready now. Around her are numbers. She is smiling, waiting for the question. And the boy in here is thinking what will be the question. So get ready now, kids. I have here the question. Okay, number 1. Express 16 is to 20 in its simplest form. Step 1. So let's do that step by step. Step 1. Write down the factors for the numerator in the denominator. What is our numerator? We have 16. What are the factors of 16? Factors of 20. Charan. Yes, okay, you're done. So if you already have the factors in here, what will be the step 2? Step 2, determine the largest factor that is common between the two. Then you write it here. What is the common factor? The of 16 and 20. Okay, so we go to step 3. Yeah. Okay, what are we going to do next? Step 3. Divide the numerator in the denominator by the greatest common factor. Okay, you divide now. So, what's your answer in number 3? You divide it. I know. In step number 2, you put it here. Then you divide. Then you put your answer here. Okay, what is your GCF? You put it here. 20 divided by the number is equal to, charan. Yes, next step 4, write down the simplified ratio. So you can write it in a fraction form if you prefer. So this will be the numerator, this will be the denominator. Or you can also write it in column form or in statement form. Okay, so let's go to the next question.
Yan. So let's read the problem. So there are 36 pupils in a class. 18 of them are girls. What is the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls? Simplify the ratio. Okay, I am here. Chan charan. Okay, so happy kid is waiting. Okay, the two kids in here are thinking what could be the answer. Okay, so let's try to do that. Yeah, let's try to check your answer. So let's go to, you try to look at your papers. Did you get the factors of 16? You should have 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. What are the factors of 20? We have 1, 2, 4. I forgot 5. There should be 5 in here. 5, 10, and 20. Now what is common to them? We have 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. But determine the common between the GCF is 4. Who got the correct answer? Yes, okay, so we give him or her 3 clap with bravo. 1, 2, 3, bravo, bravo, bravo. Next, let's try to check the problem. Yan. Okay, what should be the final answer? It should be, what is the correct answer? Yes, it is 4 is to 5. Who got it? Yes, so
Galing-galing ko, ang galing-galing. Very good, grade 5. Next, we go to number 2. Okay, so there are 36 pupils. So what are we going to do? Yeah, you try to look at that. Isn't it we don't know the number of girls? We don't know the number. I know. We know already the number of pupils or the learners. We know the number of girls. We don't know the number of boys. So you try to answer again. I will wait for a second. Next, what are we going to do next? Yes, okay. The girl is already done. She's smiling. Yan. Okay, let's see the solution. of the smiling girl. Yan. 36. What is 36? This 36, we are referring to the number of pupils. And 18 in here, number of girls. Is equal to 36 minus 18. We are referring already to the number of boys. Next. Yan. What is the ratio now? The ratio of number of boys to the number of girls is 18:18. How are we going to simplify that? Of course, we divide it with the GCF. What is their GCF? We have 18. They are both 18. So 18 divided by 18, we have 1. 18 divided by 18, we have 1. What does that mean? One girl is equal to one boy in that class. Did you get it, class? Yes. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, ang galing-galing. 1, 2, 3, ang galing-galing. Very good. Grade 5. So, let's proceed. Yan. Okay, so what is the question in here? What is ratio? Give an example. So what is a ratio? We all read. A ratio is a comparison of two different things or numbers. Again, we are comparing two different things in here or a number. What are the examples? We can have 2:5, 7:15, 20:5. So what are we comparing if we are talking about the ratio? We are comparing the quantities. When we see quantities, we are referring to groups, numbers, or how many. Get it, grade 5? Yes. Okay, we go to the next question. Galing-galing ko, ang galing-galing. Very good, grade 5. Next, we go to number 2. Okay, so there are 36 pupils. So what are we going to do? Yeah, you try to look at that. Isn't it we don't know the number of girls? We don't know the number, I know. We know already the number of pupils or the learners. We know the number of girls. We don't know the number of boys. So you try to answer again. I will wait for a second. Next, what are we going to do next? Yes, okay. The girl is already done. She's smiling. Yan. Okay, let's see the solution of the smiling girl. Yan. 36. What is 36? This 36, we are referring to the number of pupils. And 18 in here, number of girls. Is equal to 36 minus 18. We are referring already to the number of boys. Next. Yan. What is the ratio now? The ratio of number of boys to the number of girls is 18:18. How are we going to simplify that? Of course, we divide it with the GCF. What is their GCF? We have 18. They are both 18. So 18 divided by 18, we have 1. 18 divided by 18, we have 1. What does that mean? One girl is equal to one boy in that class. Did you get it, class? Yes. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, ang galing-galing. 1, 2, 3, ang galing-galing. Very good. Grade 5. So, let's proceed. Yan. Okay, so what is the question in here? What is ratio? Give an example. So what is a ratio? We all read. A ratio is a comparison of two different things or numbers. Again, we are comparing two different things in here or a number. What are the examples? We can have 2:5, 7:15, 20:5. So what are we comparing if we are talking about the ratio? We are comparing the quantities. When we see quantities, we are referring to groups, numbers, or how many. Get it, grade 5? Yes. Okay, we go to the next question. Always put that in mind. That ratio is a comparison. Comparing. Next, letter C. What are the three forms of writing ratio? What are the three forms? We have the column form, statement form, and the fraction form. So column form, we use the colon. Colon is in between the number. Statement form, we have is to in the statement or between the number. And fraction form, we have the numerator, denominator. Can we simplify ratio, grade 5? Yes, we can simplify the ratio. How are we going to simplify ratio? We read. We simplify ratio by getting the GCF of the given number, then dividing both the numerator and the denominator of the given number. Clear? Yes, so we are ready now to apply what we have learned in this presentation. So I have here some problems. Yeah. Okay. So you try to do this one. So I will give you 5 minutes. Is 5 minutes? Okay. And so letter A. So you can write or you can do this in your math notebooks or scrap paper if you have. Then you try to keep it for review, for you to review. So letter A, give two examples of ratio that you usually encounter inside your house. Meaning, what are the ratio that you can have or create using the things or the numbers that you can see inside your house. There are many, but I'm only asking for two. Okay. For example, how many are you inside your room? So you can say one room is to two child. Isn't it? And that is already a ratio. Letter B, simplify the given ratios. Show your solution. Okay, so number 1, 5:25, 12:72, 49:63, 24:65, 120:60. So you try to simplify it. Yan. Okay? Yes. They are ready now. Grade 5s are ready now. So let's try to look at our answers. Okay, so if you are not yet done, you try to look the answers, then you try to find out how did we get the correct answers. So here are some examples. 1 table is to 5 children, or 1 is to 5. So you are eating in a 1 table, you are 5 children. That is already a ratio. 2 boys is to 5 girls. Maybe 2 in your family are boys and 5 are girls. So that is an example. Okay, so you check. What is the simplified form of 5 is to 25? We have 1 is to 5. Then we have 1 is to 6. Then number 3, we have 7 is to 9. Then we have 24 is to 64 is 3 is to 8. Then 2 is to 1. Okay, it's the end. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. See you in my next video lesson.